The creator of the most dangerous AI ever can often be hailed as a bad guy, but that's not always true. In fact, the most scientific discoveries and inventions are done with humanity's best interests in mind, only to be used by humans for furthering their nefarious propaganda and intentions. Such is the case with Dr. Miles Bennett Dyson. He was actually just your average tech genius, a dude who actually invented something so groundbreaking that it almost wiped humanity off the map. Miles created the neural net processor, which eventually became Skynet, an AI built to defend the US, but ended up turning rogue, the worst kind of rogue, and nearly nuking humankind into extinction. Despite being the man who inadvertently caused Judgment Day, Miles was a genuinely decent guy who never had evil intentions. In fact, once he realized how badly things could go wrong, he did everything in his power to make things right. In this video, we'll explore the entire life of Miles Dyson across the various timelines of the rather convoluted Terminator lore. Oh, and before we begin, please consider hitting those like and subscribe buttons. Those 2 small clicks from you help us tremendously in bringing you these marvelous videos. And now, let's begin. Original timeline, humble beginnings and big dreams. Born and raised in Detroit, young Miles had dreams, initially to become a big-shot athlete, but as fate would have it, he just wasn't cut out for pro sports. In fact, he wanted a scholarship for sports but didn't receive one. But then again, that doesn't stop great men and women from achieving their big dreams. No scholarship? No problem. Miles pivoted his entire career from sports to science after acing his math exams. Soon he set his sights on technology instead. Turned out, math was definitely more his game than sports. He even got his doctorate degree soon after and worked at several places before finally working for Cyberdyne. It was now 1995, and Miles was crushing it at Cyberdyne Systems as the director of special projects. His big task was to bring to life a next-level neural net processor, using mysterious tech from a decade-old crime scene. Spoiler, the tech belonged to an earlier Terminator. Oh, and the crime scene was also just another Cyberdyne facility. Miles was kept in the dark, and he didn't know the true origins of the stuff. Yet, he just saw the insane potential to revolutionize artificial intelligence. He genuinely believed his creation would put other computers out of business and seriously upgrade defense systems. He was damn close to finishing that prototype when things took a sharp left turn. What Miles didn't know, had he completed and activated his processor named Skynet, it would have quickly become self-aware, turning weapons against humanity.
I worked a lot of years on this thing.
Judgment Day timeline, targeted for termination. Miles' world flipped upside down when Sarah Connor stormed into his life. She knew exactly what Miles' intention would do and was hell-bent on stopping him. I mean, she'd seen firsthand what the stuff could do and what a threat Dyson's invention was to humanity, to the entire human race. So armed with intel from another future Terminator, Sarah tracked Miles to his home and took aim with a CAR-15 sniper rifle. Luckily for Miles, his kid Danny distracted him at just the right moment, dodging the bullet that instead obliterated his computer monitor. Although she missed the first shot, she didn't hesitate or quit easily. How could she? So Sarah immediately switched her rifle to full auto mode and unleashed a hailstorm of bullets. Miles ducked behind his desk and miraculously avoided a certain death the second time. However, all that gunfire shredded his research to bits and pieces. Out of bullets, but not out of determination, she marched straight into his house with a .45 caliber pistol, blasting away. She cornered Miles, landing a bullet in his shoulder and holding him hostage alongside his terrified family. Held at gunpoint, Miles frantically pleaded with Sarah, totally baffled about why this was happening to him. Sarah was overcome with rage, blaming Miles for horrors he hadn't even committed yet. When Miles uttered an innocent, bewildered "what?", Sarah finally broke down. Unable to kill an innocent man in cold blood, especially with his family watching, she froze. Just then, Sarah's son John and the second Terminator arrived. John calmed his mom down while the Terminator casually sliced into his arm, revealing his robotic skeleton. Miles was absolutely gobsmacked, seeing his work literally staring back at him, from the future no less. After patching Miles up and explaining Skynet's grim future, Miles was genuinely horrified. He had learned what a mess he was about to create, how badly he would hurt humanity if he went ahead with his research. And as I said initially, he wasn't a bad guy, not at all. He instantly vowed to ditch Cyberdyne and destroy all his research. But it wasn't that simple. It never is. The Terminator made it crystal clear to him that if the lab and tech stayed intact, someone else would just pick up where he left off, and this person could just finish what Dyson had started. Yes, it would take some time, maybe a few years, but it was not an impossibility. Miles, now fully on board, agreed to hit Cyberdyne Systems with Sarah and crew, determined to wipe everything out. He sent Teresa and the kids into hiding, promising his wife he'd do whatever it took to ensure Skynet never saw daylight. The episode at Cyberdyne. Miles hoped they'd just walk into Cyberdyne, wipe out the research, and leave without creating any kind of ruckus. But the late-night security guard was a stickler for paperwork and refused them entry. No time for bureaucratic BS, they forced their way in at gunpoint, tying up the guard and avoiding any further complications. Inside the high-security lab, Miles helped John round up all the futuristic tech, the original Terminator pieces, then got busy rigging a massive explosive device, using polydichloric euthamol to annihilate everything. But right on cue, SWAT crashed the party, guns blazing. Miles took multiple rounds, badly wounded but still breathing. As he bled out, he heroically insisted Sarah and company make a run for it. Alone and fading fast, he held onto a chunk of his neural net processor prototype just above the bomb trigger. Realizing Miles wasn't bluffing, SWAT teams scrambled to evacuate. Weakening by the second, Miles' grip eventually slipped, activating the explosion. A fiery blast obliterated the lab, Cyberdyne's HQ, and tragically ended Miles' life. The Sarah Connor Chronicles timeline, Dyson's shadow. Miles himself might have been gone, but his presence loomed large. His family, home, and legacy got screen time in the series' pilot episode. Miles only appeared in a photograph. The FBI mistakenly convinced Sarah murdered Miles, caused understandable friction with his widow Teresa, who was initially cold to Sarah when they reunited in '99. Sarah eventually convinced Teresa of her innocence. Later, visiting Miles' grave, Teresa dropped some hints about other scientists dabbling in AI, including a shady project called The Turk, capable of chess mastery. Phil Morris portrayed Miles in those photos. Resistance timeline, Dyson's unintentional gift. After Judgment Day, a Resistance scientist named Edwin Mack stumbled upon Dyson's original Skynet coding, complete with a hidden vulnerability called Zero Exploit. Mack, under John Connor's orders, exploited this flaw to infect the machines, slowing down Skynet's assault and buying humanity precious time. Intriguingly, Dyson supposedly gave a speech back in August '97, hinting Sarah's assassination attempt never happened there, and Judgment Day unfolded differently. Genesis timeline, Dyson revisited. In an alternate reality of Terminator Genesis, Judgment Day didn't hit until 2017. Miles was now Cyberdyne's CEO, but not directly creating Skynet himself. Instead, he funded Genesis, an AI project led by his son Danny. Ironically, Miles still indirectly paved the way for Skynet, now born through Danny and John Connor, who'd tragically been turned into the cyborg villain T-3000. Tough luck again, Miles. T2 novels, A Family's Revenge and Revelation. In the T2 novels by S.M. Sterling, Miles' brother Jordan Dyson, an FBI agent, chased Sarah relentlessly, mistakenly blaming her for Miles' death. Even after Teresa revealed the truth, that a dying SWAT leader admitted responsibility, Jordan clung to bitterness, convinced Miles only got into trouble because of Sarah. Eventually faced with the undeniable truth about Terminators, Jordan came around, joining the Connors to fight off more robotic threats from the future. Behind the scenes, bringing Miles to life. Joe Morton brilliantly played Miles Dyson in Terminator 2 Judgment Day. Phil Morris appeared in photographs for the Sarah Connor Chronicles, and Courtney B. Vance stepped into the role for Terminator Genesis. Fun fact, in Marvel's comic adaptation, Miles' final emotional gesture was pulling out a family photo and whispering goodbye before his heroic death. How Terminator 2 turned Skynet's creator into its most sympathetic character. You'd think Miles Dyson, literally the dude responsible for inventing Skynet, the AI that nukes humanity, would be tough to root for, right? But thanks to the messy rules of time travel, Dyson's redemption arcs kick in before he's even done anything wrong. After 1984's The Terminator set the creepy killer robot slasher stage, James Cameron really did his thing in '91 with Terminator 2. The franchise was no longer a sci-fi horror. T2 was action-packed, emotional, and gave us unforgettable characters. Sarah Connor, John Connor, Arnie's reprogrammed T-800, and that nightmare-inducing T-1000. But surprisingly, none of them are the heart of the movie. Nope, that honor goes straight to Dyson. Even before Sarah Connor bursts into his house like a madwoman and almost murders him in front of his family, it's clear Dyson's one of the good guys. The extended cut especially nails it. He genuinely believes his groundbreaking tech will help humanity. After narrowly escaping Sarah's assassination attempt, complete with getting shot and all, Dyson quickly realizes his life's work needs to be trashed to prevent catastrophe. Sure, Sarah, John, and the T-800 laid the pressure on thick, but Dyson didn't need much convincing once he knew the truth about Skynet. Wounded, rattled, yet fully on board, Dyson willingly helps break into Cyberdyne to blow his research sky high. And when it becomes painfully clear he's not getting out alive, he doesn't bail or panic. Instead, Dyson courageously signals Sarah to get clear and sacrifices himself, detonating his work to prevent the apocalypse. It's a heroic exit, cementing him as easily the most selfless and courageous character in the film. Joe Morton's standout performance seals the deal, turning Dyson from would-be doomsday engineer into a legit tragic hero. All this despite the fact that without him, Terminators wouldn't even exist. Marvelous verdict. In the end, Miles Dyson was just a guy caught in an epic sci-fi nightmare. He messed up big time, but ultimately stood up when it counted most. That's the real legacy of Dr. Miles Bennett Dyson, an accidental architect of doom who tried to save humanity when it mattered most. That'll be all for this one, folks. See you around in the next one. And if you liked our content, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to us if you haven't already. Have a good one and be safe. Thanks, everyone.